The hidden purpose of suffering. Sometimes life leads us down paths we don't understand. We lose something, face a crisis, or feel like everything is falling apart. But what if every challenge carried a hidden purpose? What if every loss, every mistake, and every unexpected turn were all part of a much greater design? Buddhism teaches us that nothing is random. Every experience shapes us, teaches us, and brings us closer to a deeper truth. In this video, we'll explore how to trust life, how to accept what happens, and how to turn every obstacle into an opportunity. If you've ever asked yourself, "Why is this happening to me?" stay with us until the end. The answer might just change how you see life forever. Pain is one of the most universal human experiences. No one escapes loss, failure, or disappointment. But what sets us apart isn't what we go through, it's how we interpret it. In Buddhism, suffering is not seen as punishment, nor some cruel twist of fate. It is viewed as a disguised teacher. Even if we don't understand it in the moment, every hardship holds a hidden purpose. When we encounter pain, our first instinct is to resist. We want the discomfort to disappear, to return to how things were. But what if suffering isn't here to punish us? What if it's here to transform us? Many of life's greatest lessons only arrive through pain. Just as fire purifies gold, difficulties strip away what is unnecessary and reveal our truest essence. The Buddha taught, suffering is inevitable, but unnecessary suffering is a choice. The difference lies in how we meet it. When we cling to pain, we prolong it. When we fight it, we strengthen it. But if we learn to observe it without fear, we uncover the seed of wisdom buried inside. A story to shift your perspective. There's a classic Buddhist story that brings this to life. A disciple once complained to his master. His life felt unfair. Nothing ever went right. The master listened patiently, then asked the student to bring a handful of salt. He told him to place it into a glass of water and drink. The disciple took a sip and grimaced. It was bitter. Then the master led him to a lake and told him to throw in the same handful of salt. This time, he asked him to drink from the lake. The disciple smiled. "The water tastes pure," he said. The master replied, "Suffering is like salt. The amount never changes. What matters is the container you place it in. If you want your pain to feel less bitter, expand your perspective. What is this trying to teach me?" When we focus solely on our pain, it fills every part of our being. But when we broaden our view, when we begin to understand that each moment is a piece of something far greater, the pain no longer consumes us. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can begin asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Often, the most painful experiences lead to our greatest breakthroughs. What once felt like a tragedy may later reveal itself as a hidden blessing. Losing a job may lead to discovering our true calling. The end of a relationship might teach us the value of self-love. A personal crisis might open the door to an entirely new way of living. Buddhism invites us to see suffering not as a curse but as an invitation, a call to evolve. It's not about seeking pain, but about meeting it with open eyes when it arrives, because when it does, it's not here to destroy us, it's here to awaken us. Every difficult moment forces us to develop something new: patience, resilience, compassion. It reveals the parts of us that still need healing and offers a chance for profound transformation. Turning pain into practice. If you want to live this truth, next time you face a challenge, pause. Instead of resisting, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? What truth is this pain revealing about who I am? Suffering is part of the human journey, but it doesn't have to define us. When we accept its lessons, we stop seeing it as the enemy and begin to use it as a tool for our evolution. In the end, every trial we face is just another step on the path toward awakening. No chaos, no transformation. Comfort is a state we all seek, but rarely do we ask, what does it do to us? When life feels easy, when everything is under control, we settle. We cling to the familiar, avoid risk, and choose the illusion of safety over the reality of change. But Buddhism reminds us, without chaos, there is no transformation. Often, it's the moments that shake us to our core that spark the deepest growth. Crises, though painful, wake us up. They pull us from our routines, push us beyond our limits, and make us question everything. The necessity of disruption. Everything we thought we knew, challenged. Without disruption, we might never develop new skills, question old beliefs, or explore paths we would have otherwise ignored. Life, in its infinite wisdom, uses adversity as a tool for our evolution. Picture a seed. If it remains on the surface, exposed to sunlight and air, but never buried, it will never grow into a tree. It must be pushed deep into the darkness of the soil, break apart from within, and struggle upward toward the light. The process is painful, but it's the only way life can emerge. The same is true for us. Without difficult moments, without inner breaking points, we wouldn't be given the chance to reach our full potential. The butterfly's struggle. There is a story in Buddhism that captures this truth. A disciple once asked his master, "Why does life have to be so hard?" In response, the master led him to a forest and pointed to a butterfly struggling to free itself from its cocoon. Moved by compassion, the disciple carefully tore open the cocoon to help it. The butterfly emerged, but its wings were weak. It could never fly. The master explained, "The effort to break free strengthens the wings. Without the struggle, the butterfly cannot fly." Just like that butterfly, we need the resistance of life's challenges to build our strength. Every difficult moment forces us to adapt, to stretch beyond what we thought possible, to grow into a version of ourselves we never knew existed. The gift within chaos. Without moments of chaos, we stay the same, trapped in comfort, afraid to evolve. Buddhism teaches us to view chaos not as a curse, but as an opportunity in disguise. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What change is this bringing about in my life?" If we look back, we'll realize most of our growth didn't come from peace. It came from storms. Loss taught us the value of what we had. Failure built our resilience. Unexpected detours pushed us down paths we never would have chosen, but needed. Accepting chaos doesn't mean enjoying suffering. It means recognizing that this, too, is part of the process. When we stop resisting and start flowing with change, we uncover a strength we never knew we had. Life isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about learning how to use them. Every crisis is an invitation to evolve. If we trust the process, we'll see that after the chaos, a new version of ourselves always emerges, stronger, wiser, and more free. Dharma, the invisible order of life. There are moments when life feels out of control. We face unexpected obstacles, plans collapse, and we begin to wonder, am I on the wrong path? But Buddhism teaches us something deeper. Nothing in the universe happens by chance. There is an invisible order behind it all, even when we can't see it. This natural order is called Dharma. Dharma is the law that governs existence, the quiet harmony behind every unfolding. Everything happens at the right time for a specific reason. There are no accidents. Even what we label as negative is part of a greater balance. Learning from nature. Look at nature. Seasons change when they must. Rivers don't resist their path. Trees never rush their growth. Nothing in nature asks, "Why is this happening?" It simply flows. But as humans, we resist. We want life to meet our expectations, and when it doesn't, we suffer. There's an old Buddhist story. A man was caught in a storm at sea. He fought against the waves with all his strength, desperate to stay afloat. But the more he struggled, the more he sank. Eventually, exhausted, he surrendered. and allowed himself to float. In that moment, the current gently carried him back to shore. Surrendering to the flow. This is how Dharma works. When we stop resisting and trust the rhythm of life, we often find our way with much less suffering. This doesn't mean we become passive, nor does it mean that everything is predetermined. Dharma invites us to act, but with awareness, with intention, aligned to our deepest truth. Often, suffering appears when we drift away from our purpose. Life sends us signs, and if we ignore them, we're met with obstacles that force us back into alignment. Everything happens in its time. When something leaves our life, it's because it no longer supports our growth. When we are tested, we're being prepared for what comes next. And when something is delayed, it's because the time is not yet right. Dharma reminds us, you cannot rush the bloom of a flower, you cannot summon the sunrise before it's ready to rise. The same is true of our lives. We crave answers. We want the pain to end quickly. We want transformation now. But life unfolds in its own sacred rhythm. And trusting that rhythm is what frees us from anxiety, from frustration, from the suffering we create when we try to force what isn't ready. Trusting life's timing. When we understand that everything unfolds for a reason, we stop seeing difficulties as punishments. Instead, we begin to recognize them as opportunities. If something isn't working, rather than fighting it, we can pause and ask ourselves, what is this trying to teach me? Often we only understand Dharma with time. What feels like loss today may reveal itself as exactly what we needed. If we can trust life's invisible order, we'll find peace, even in the heart of uncertainty. Each of us walks a unique path. We cannot compare our journey to anyone else's. What is right for another may not be meant for us. Listening to our inner voice, following our intuition, and embracing change with openness, these help us walk in harmony with Dharma. We are not here by accident. Every experience, every person we meet, every decision we make is part of a greater balance. When we trust that everything happens in its perfect time, we stop living in fear and start living with purpose. The illusion of control. From a young age, we're taught that if we work hard, plan well, and make the right decisions, life will unfold exactly as we want. But sooner or later, life teaches us otherwise. No matter how carefully we prepare, some things slip through our fingers. A relationship we trusted falls apart. A job we thought secure disappears. Plans that felt certain suddenly collapse. We begin to question ourselves. What did I do wrong? Why did everything fall apart when I tried so hard to do everything right? Buddhism offers us a powerful insight. Control is an illusion. Nothing in life is truly certain. Life moves according to its own rhythm, not according to our expectations. The problem lies in the mind's craving for certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know what will happen, when it will happen, and how it will happen. And when life doesn't deliver those guarantees, we panic. The river story. There's an old Buddhist story. A king once asked his 3 advisors why life was so unpredictable. The first said, "It's all luck." The second said, "It's the result of past decisions." But the third remained silent. He led the king to a river and asked him to stop the flowing water with his hands. The king tried, but no matter what he did, the water kept flowing. The advisor said, "Life is like this river. You can try to control it, but in the end, it will flow as it must. Your only choice is to learn how to move with it." Letting go with wisdom. Suffering often comes from clinging to how we think life should be. We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy only if this happens. Life must go exactly as planned. Nothing should change." But life doesn't work that way. It never has. And the tighter we hold on, the more we suffer. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive. It means realizing that while we can act with intention, we cannot force life to obey our script. We do our best. And then we release our grip on the outcome. Wu Wei, effortless flow. In Buddhism, there is a practice called Wu Wei. It means effortless action or non-doing. It does not mean doing nothing. It means aligning our actions with the natural flow of life. Rather than pushing against the current, we navigate with it. Rather than resisting the inevitable, we adapt with grace. When we trust that life will carry us where we are meant to go, anxiety begins to fade. We stop obsessing over the future, and we begin to live here, fully now. We accept that uncertainty will come, but we no longer see it as a threat. We see it as a teacher, a necessary part of our evolution. Reflecting on the unexpected one, helpful practice is to reflect on past moments when life didn't go as planned, but something better emerged, a relationship ended, and we discovered a deeper self. A job was lost, but it opened the door to purpose. A failure revealed hidden strength. Every time we let go of control, we stopped living in fear and started living in trust. Not because everything went our way, but because we discovered we could face whatever came. A life of flow. This doesn't mean life will be easy, but it does mean we can find peace even in the middle of uncertainty. Life is not something to control, it's something to live. And when we stop fighting its natural rhythm, when we move with the current instead of against it, we discover a deeper calm, a clearer mind, and a heart at peace with the mystery. The illusion of control. Learning to trust the flow of life. From the moment we are young, we're taught to take control of our lives, to work hard, make plans, and make the right decisions. We're told that if we do everything correctly, life will unfold as we want it to. But sooner or later, life teaches us otherwise. No matter how carefully we plan, some things slip through our fingers. A relationship we thought was stable falls apart. A job we counted on disappears. Plans that once felt perfect suddenly unravel for reasons we can't explain. When things don't go our way, we feel frustrated, anxious, and afraid. We ask ourselves, what did I do wrong? Why did everything fall apart when I tried so hard to do everything right? This is where Buddhism offers a powerful insight. Control is an illusion. Nothing in life is ever truly certain. We may try to create stability, but life flows according to its own rhythm. The mind craves certainty. It wants guarantees. It wants to know what will happen and when. And when life doesn't meet those demands, we panic. The River Parable. There's an old Buddhist story. A king once asked his 3 advisors why life was so unpredictable. The first said, "It's all luck." The second said, "It's the result of past choices." But the third remained silent. He led the king to a river and asked him to stop the flowing water with his hands. The king tried, but no matter what he did, the water kept moving. The advisor said, "Life is like this river. You can try to control it, but in the end, it will flow where it needs to. Your only real power is to learn how to move with it." Letting go, gaining peace. Suffering often comes from clinging to how we think life should be. We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy only if this works out, only if life stays exactly how I want it." But life doesn't work that way. It never has. And the tighter we hold on, the more we struggle to keep up with a world that's always in motion. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means realizing that while we can take action and make meaningful choices, we cannot force life to follow our script. We do our best, but we release our grip on the outcome. Wu Wei, effortless action. In Buddhism, there is a practice called Wu Wei, translated as effortless action or non-doing. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting in alignment with the natural flow of life. Instead of pushing against the current, we learn to navigate with it. Instead of resisting the inevitable, we move gracefully with what life brings. And when we trust that life will take us where we need to go, anxiety begins to fade. We stop obsessing over tomorrow and start living fully in the present. A new perspective on uncertainty. We begin to accept that uncertainty is not a threat, but a natural, necessary part of our journey. A helpful practice is to reflect on past moments when life didn't go as planned, and yet something better emerged. Maybe a relationship ended and led you to deeper self-love. Maybe losing a job opened the door to a more meaningful calling. Maybe a failure revealed a strength you didn't know you had. When we release the illusion of control, we stop living in fear. We stop trying to micromanage every detail of life. And instead, we trust our ability to face what comes. Life won't always be easy, but when we live with trust, it can become peaceful, even in uncertainty. Life is not something we control. It is something we learn to live. And when we stop fighting the natural flow, we discover a calm and clarity we didn't think were possible. Serenity in the unexpected. How to find peace in uncertainty. Life is full of surprises. One moment everything feels stable, and the next everything shifts. We lose a job, a relationship ends, a challenge appears we never saw coming. Uncertainty is part of life, but instead of accepting it, most people resist it. We chase after security, grasp for control, and try to create certainty. Yet change is the only constant we truly have. Buddhism teaches us peace doesn't come from eliminating uncertainty, it comes from learning how to live with it. The ocean metaphor. Imagine you're in a small boat, floating in the middle of the ocean. If you try to control the waves, you'll exhaust yourself. But if you learn to move with them, to ride their rhythm instead of fighting it, you'll begin to flow. You'll find balance in the sway, grace in the motion, and peace even in the unknown. To flow rather than resist. You'll find you can navigate through even the roughest waters. Uncertainty is like the ocean. We can't stop its movement, but we can learn how to sail. There's a story in the Buddhist tradition about a monk who lived atop a mountain. One day, a villager came running, breathless. "A massive storm is coming," he warned. "You have to leave before it's too late." The monk, calm and still, replied, "If the storm comes, I will welcome it." The villager, confused, insisted, "But you could die." The monk smiled and said, "If I die, I will accept death. If I live, I will accept life. Whatever happens, I will accept it." This doesn't mean we become careless or do nothing to protect ourselves. It means we let go of the fear of what we cannot control. The fear of uncertainty. The fear of uncertainty comes from doubting our ability to handle the unknown. But the truth is, we've already survived every challenge life has ever thrown our way. And that means we can handle whatever comes next. Often, the unexpected brings opportunities we never would have imagined. Losing a job can lead to a new path. The end of a relationship can open the door to deeper self-understanding. A sudden challenge can push us to grow in ways we never thought possible. Sometimes, when life disrupts our plans, it's clearing the way for something better. Practices for peace in uncertainty. One powerful practice for finding peace in uncertainty is to ask yourself, how many times has something that seemed bad at first turned out to be a blessing? Do I really need all the answers right now? Am I missing this moment because I'm too focused on a future that doesn't even exist yet? Life is always moving. Resisting that movement creates suffering. Accepting uncertainty doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means trusting that whatever happens, you will find a way through. Peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from learning how to live with the questions. It's not about knowing exactly what tomorrow will bring. It's about trusting that you'll be able to meet it, whatever it is. Nothing in life is completely certain. But when you let go of the fear of the unknown, you discover an incredible freedom. Instead of worrying about what might happen, you begin to live fully, completely, in the now. The path to awakening, how every event brings us closer to enlightenment life, often feels unpredictable. We face challenges, losses, changes we didn't ask for, and yet, each of these experiences carries a lesson. Buddhism teaches that every event, no matter how painful or confusing, is part of our journey toward awakening. Enlightenment isn't some distant goal. It's not something we find outside ourselves. It is already within us, waiting to be recognized. And every moment in life, especially the difficult ones, invites us to wake up, to see things as they truly are, without fear, without resistance. Think about the times you've grown the most. They probably weren't the easiest moments. They were the times when life pushed you, tested you, and forced you to look deeper. That's the path to awakening. Not a sudden revelation, but the slow and steady process of understanding yourself and your place in this world. When we stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" everything changes. We move from feeling like victims to becoming students of life. Every obstacle becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes an invitation to grow. So if life feels heavy right now, if you're walking through something you don't yet understand, trust that it's part of your journey. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Everything is shaping you into who you are meant to be. Join the journey. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and become part of this growing community where we explore these teachings together. And I'd love to hear from you. What lesson from this video spoke to you the most? Share it in the comments. Your experience may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you in the next video.